Hey gang, it's JC, and this is the Daily Dose for Friday, July 13th, 2012, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Clayton. We have great television archives up top, and of course our JC Eye Candy right down below. We update on Mondays and Fridays here at jcontheline.com. You can also friend me on Facebook, The Showgram with JC Corcoran, The Showgram with JC Corcoran, also on Twitter at STLJC Corcoran. Let's get rolling. The results of last week's Rock and Roll poll. What best describes your feelings about the current heat wave? Now, we had a little bit of a respite here the last couple of days after 2 weeks of 100-degree temperatures, and now they're saying we're going to be up around 100 next week too. So what do you think about this? Number one answer, 56%. This is all part of a normal cycle. It's happened before. It'll happen again. Number two answer at 32%. I'm a believer in climate change, and this is one of the best illustrations that it's real. 8% said you're not sure about the validity of climate change, but this has your attention, and only 4% believe that the government is controlling the weather. But the number one answer is that this is normal somehow, and I have to completely disagree with y'all. And that's because this is the hottest year on record so far. This past March was the hottest March ever since they've been completing records. Stats, and more stats. I don't know if it's a defense mechanism that people are afraid to believe that the climate really is changing and that what we've been having here in St. Louis, for example, is the new normal, or if the conservative right has just done a particularly good job of convincing people that climate change is a bunch of bunk. Either way, I couldn't be in more disagreement with you, but we'll move on. Let's move on to something else that brings people together when there's a course of discussion about Scientology. And of course, the whole Tom Cruise, Katie Holmes thing has kicked up the Scientology debate again. So what do you think of Scientology? A, it's an amazing mechanism capable of changing one's life. B, it's just another religion. It's got its upsides and its bad sides. C, there might be something to it for certain people, but a lot of what I've heard sounds freaky and even dangerous. Or D, they're all nuts. Please answer down in the corner. Results for you when we come back next week. This week, Kiplinger.com, the financial people, featured an article on the top 10 cities for cheapskates. You'll never guess what number one is. That's right. Congratulations, St. Louis. We're cheapskates. Springfield, Illinois came in third. All right. I'm going to do some stargazing, and two very, very popular people are going to be in St. Louis on Tuesday. Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. There's something tickling me in the head here. I don't know if a bug got in there. Something always seems to happen 2 or 3 minutes into the Daily Dose. Anyhow, Will and Zach are going to be in town on Tuesday to promote their movie, The Campaign, which I've seen the trailer. It looks absolutely hilarious, by the way, and great for an election year when he punches the baby. It's pretty funny stuff. Anyhow, there are going to be medals of honor. The mayor's going to be there. There's going to be Blues and Cardinals representatives. I don't see the Oh, I do see the Rams listed. Okay, I thought they were sitting this one out. Anyhow, it's going to be Tuesday at 6 o'clock down at Keener Plaza, 7th and Market. And the whole thing kicks off about 6:10. So go on down there and ogle Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis. The movie is called The Campaign. Opens in a couple of weeks. Jason Sudeikis is also in that movie. Supposedly he's going to be leaving Saturday Night Live also. And speaking of leaving, Steven Tyler out of American Idol. You know, 2 seasons ago, after years of me telling everybody how great American Idol was, they bounced Pia. And I was like, that's it. They jumped the shark. This is ridiculous. Well, right after that, everybody started leaving, and the ratings were down dramatically last season. And now Steven Tyler gone. They're saying that maybe J-Lo is going to be gone too, and Randy Jackson may move on to being a mentor. So they could go on with an entirely new panel next year, and I don't care because they pissed me off. What else we got? Oh, yeah, and by the way, Nigel Lythgoe, the producer of American Idol, floated this idea that he wanted Charlie Sheen and Jerry Lewis to be judges, and it was a joke, and Charlie Sheen is doing what he should do, and that is to play it like it's serious. Well, I don't know if the money's right. Maybe I could do it. You know, Nigel Lythgoe is kidding. I'm almost 100% sure of that. Stevie Nicks on CBS this morning said Fleetwood Mac's going to get together and reunite for another tour next year. Bill Murray is going on a nationwide tour of crashing people's parties. Now, he's going to be on something like a 21-city tour, And he's going to be in Chicago, and he's going to be in Kansas City, but no St. Louis stop. Otherwise, I'd go into more detail. But basically, Bill Murray's just going to show up at your house at your party and crash your party, something he does in the New York area already. Paste Magazine released a list of the top movies of the 90s. Number 10, The Apostle, Robert Duvall. This is a movie nobody saw, but it was great. The only problem I have with it is, you know what Robert Duvall looks like. You know how old he is. His wife in the movie was played by Farrah Fawcett. But other than that, fantastic movie about a preacher. Rushmore at number 9, Goodfellas, Fargo, Shawshank Redemption at number 5, Schindler's List at 2, Pulp Fiction from '94, best movie of the 1990s. How about this Sony and Nielsen survey that was released a couple of days ago, where they basically said, what's the most impactful televised event in history? Basically, they talked to people about what they watch on TV, ask what they remember about certain details, big events in history that were televised, and what were the most memorable. For example, the funeral of JFK at number 20, the Casey Anthony verdict at number 19, the LA riots at 18, Oklahoma City bombing at 16, royal wedding at 14, Barack Obama's acceptance speech in 08 at number 13, the death of Whitney Houston came in 11th, Princess Diana's funeral 10th, the BP oil spill at number 9, the Columbine attack, Japanese earthquake, O.J. Simpson, killing of Osama bin Laden, the Challenger shuttle space disaster at number 4 from 1986, the O.J. verdict at number 3, the levee breaking during Hurricane Katrina at number 2, and the attacks on 9/11 were number 1. Can I just ask a question? Can I ask a freaking question? The moon landing doesn't make the list. The moon landing in 1969 does not make the list. The Casey Anthony jury, I don't know if the final episode of Friends is on here. The moon landing does not make the list. Rolling Stones celebrated their 50th anniversary. Their first concert was at a place called London's Marquee Club back in 1962. Stones are still kicking. And a survey by Trojan has some good news and bad news. We're having more sex than ever. People are having sex 31 more times this year than they were last year, but they are enjoying it less. Only 67% of us are satisfied with our sex lives. That's down from 76 last year. Half of us are trying to spice things up by having more spontaneous sex, and a third are having it someplace new. Number 1 choice is outside, by the way. How about this guy? Last Thursday, a former Air Force doctor was hiking in California, broke his leg. So they bring in a helicopter full of paramedics. The paramedic gets out and gets hit in the head by the blade of the helicopter and is knocked unconscious. Now, the guy who they originally were called for, the guy with the broken leg, treats the guy who's unconscious, who got hit in the head with a helicopter blade, and saves his life, and now they're both in the hospital recovering. All right, I posted something on Facebook on the Showgram with J.C. Corcoran earlier this week that you might be interested in if you have an iPhone. 25 awesome iPhone tips and tricks, all sorts of stuff that get you the maximum efficiency, and a couple of tricks and things for your iPhone. Again, you can check that out on my Facebook page at the Showgram with J.C. Corcoran. A New York plastic surgeon is now offering procedures for people who think their toes are too fat. Who think their toes are too fat. That's what I said. So I think I can speak for everybody in this country when I say, suck it, Africa. 14 days to the Olympics. 49 days to the Labor Day weekend. 104 days to the World Series. Big weekend against Cincinnati Reds down in Cincy. All right, if you're heading to the pool this weekend, do your best not to duplicate any of these. I've listed we got a bunch of videos here of the top unintentional ultimate belly flop championship. Most of these people were trying to do something else, and they didn't mean to come down on their bellies, but they did. So enjoy that. JC's Eye Candy right below what you're looking at right now. Okay, what do you think of Scientology? That's our rock and roll poll. And on Monday, come on back when we update, and I'm going to tell you why radio is killing itself. People say, well, what about satellite radio? What about the internet? And it's like, oh yeah, all those things are competition, Pandora, all that sort of stuff. But it's radio that's killing radio. And I will tell you why and how when you come back on Monday. We update on Mondays and Fridays here on the Daily Dose, and that's it. JC here for Friday, July 13th, 2012. a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Clayton. Have a great weekend, everybody. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.